I've got a couple of names, so I don't know which one I should use for this interview. Hang on, it's in my ID book. Oh, that got scared. My name's Gary Herselman, and what I do is mostly nothing, but I jot a couple of songs down every now and then. My mom and dad were house mother and father in an orphanage, so I grew up like with the wolves, you know, kind of thing. I was running with the pack, well, running behind the pack kind of thing. But that's, for some reason, sound became very important then. I started wanting to copy it, you know. Hit stuff, you know, dustbins, whatever. Got like a cardboard drum set, that kind of shit. I remember like having this urge to make music from pretty young. We used to make this, what is I think nowadays known as a kazoo. We used to call them hosies, and like kind of copy sounds, try and remake sounds. Hi guys, you're late. Yes, hi. Once we got into high school, I got involved with a band called Spectrum. Then they became Hardlines, Tractor, etc., etc. And then we put together a band called the Carols. It was before the Gereformeerde Blues Band. It was in the times of, what was it called again?
Apartheid.
Apartheid will do, let's call it apartheid, yeah. State of emergency, all that shit. We're all gonna die tomorrow, so let's play faster today. That kind of thing, you know. The Voorvry tour is an amazing thing, you know. When Lloyd put the Voorvry documentary together, there was something interesting I heard, that he said he'd spoken to P.W. Botha after the kind of fall of the National Party and stuff. Not P.W. Botha, Pik Botha, sorry. And he'd asked him what kind of part he felt that the alternative movement had played in the downfall, so-called downfall of the National Party. And he said that when they realized that they didn't have the children anymore on their side, they kind of knew they had to fold arms. That's not to say that that's what did it, but it was quite interesting. What was quite interesting for me also to realize after that is that the whole thing kind of fell apart as the tour was going. So it was kind of, we were just there, you know, surfing the wave as the people took the photographs. But I mean, obviously there's millions of people that gave their lives for it, so hectic. This record, I've never made a record like this in my life before. What's interesting about this record for me, because I can only speak for me actually, is, gee, like you didn't know that. I was doing a whole lot of demos. When I was making the demos, I had this kind of sense of opening up. I was in, like, the carols were so tight, it was so kind of regimented, and I wanted things to open up a bit more. It's not completely open yet, but I wanted to flow a bit more. So let go of the songs completely. I sent Mike about, I don't know, 60 demos or something, and I said to him, look, I don't want to be you, you choose the songs. And he chose the songs, and then we sort of started talking, saying, well, maybe we can involve so-and-so. There's people that I've worked with or wanted to work with or have admired or have been involved with on some level throughout my life. And kind of went to these people and just said, look, here's the song, what do you think of it, you know? How do you interpret it? So that's been amazing. That's been quite an amazing thing for me. It's just to like, chuck it up and say, okay, everybody, what do you think? And that the people have been interested in getting involved. Well, anyway. The thing of just going to people that we trust, that we know, that we've heard what they're doing over the years, respect, and just saying to them, okay, here's this song, this is sort of might fit into the kind of thing you're doing, just giving it over to them. It's usually, I get the band together, the band gets very tight. Then we go into the studio, like we made a record, the Carols Accès, was made in one day, came and sang it the next day, same with Chrome Sweet Chrome. And what's been amazing about that and made me mull about that is just kind of being aware that all this stuff's going on, but I can't hear it, you know. It's been certainly something refreshing, and yeah, it's a great process. Cooperation is always more productive than domination. Two covers on this album are ZX Dan, which is a Radio Rat song. The reason I chose that is because I think it's just a fantastic pop song, and it's I think written about 30 years ago kind of thing. I'd like to just kind of bring it now so maybe younger people can get it again. You know, it did pretty well. It was 5.5 minutes for one thing in the days when radio would only play a 3-minute song. That's the one. And then there's also Jonathan Handley, one of the really great craftsmen of songwriting in the way I see it. And then we chose Liefde as well. Well, I chose Liefde because of the whole Gereformeerde blues band thing I was involved in. Beautiful song of Rolf's. It's just for me an incredible song, and it'd be great to like show that to some other people. Just say, check this out, you know, that vibe. The English Afrikaans thing, I'm not exactly sure why that happens, but my father is from an Afrikaans family, so that's Afrikaans blood or whatever it's called, and then my mom's from English and Dutch actually. And then essentially what happens is that songs just kind of arrive. Some arrive in English, some arrive in Afrikaans, you know. The guy writes them down, you know. Try to get out the way. How do I write? Eesh. I used to write with a pen. Actually, I write better with a pen if it's songs. I kind of think, what is the process? I don't know what the process is. It just takes me over. It just puts me down on my gat and says, write this. And then later on I try and work out what's happening, you know. What's interesting for me about the songs on this record is that they've been written over a period of like 40 years, kind of my songwriting career. Did I just do that? They're kind of songs that weren't written for, like if I was in a band, I would find I would write for, try and keep into that style or genre, I'm going to do this again. But this time I could check through all those 40 years of stuff kind of thing. It doesn't make it sound, it was written quite a while before that. It was kind of just that feeling that I'm sure we all get at some stage that like, it's over now, you know. This is the time where I'm not going to get up. That vibe. People who thought I was dead think I'm in pretty good shape. But coming back's been amazing. It's been kind of like a rebirth, like I made it. Yes, people can get off heroin, whether you like it or not. Yeah, it's been amazing. Pretty frightening as well at times, I guess, but you kind of forget, I suppose. Then again, when you're on heroin, you've got heroin to help you not realize what you're doing, so. And when you fall down. Yeah, I think this one is sort of a bit more where my heart lives, instead of where my mouth lives, you know. I can be a bit of a smart mouth, I think. And I think a lot of other people would agree with that. Heat of September is a song that I wrote for my father about 6 years after his passing. And for me, it's just a way of saying like, how's it, hope you're well, check you later, kind of thing. That's what we got, you know, it rains, bees, pollen, spring is quick, you were right again and it's not a trick. What I'd like to do, I've always made music, always had a job and made music, because that's like whitey South African rock and roll kind of thing, generally speaking. But with this one, I've not had that job, so I would like, this one I'd really like to sell. I'd like to sell it and then hopefully make another one, you know. This one's been pretty awesome all around.